Welcome back to another episode of Men at Work. I'm Kyle Pagan, as always, joined by Matt Peoples. And we've got a special guest. He's at Punchline all weekend, Bo Johnson.
Hello, nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too, dude. Such a sweet-sounding voice.
Bo, we've been talking about how sweet you seem the past hour straight.
You're already going, you sound sweet.
You just seem like an incredibly nice guy, dude. You have a wonderful energy to you.
Canadian energy, some would say.
Yes. I've gotten that. I've had people ask if I'm from Canada. Yeah. Really? I used to go to Canada every summer with my folks. They would do a bodywork retreat. And so for years in elementary school, I would say sorry. And I got it bullied out of me, and now I say sorry like an American.
Like an American-made man.
But with the amount of a Canadian, but pronounced like an American.
It's so funny because you have Canadian energy, but you have the name of a guy who should be selling forts.
Yeah, one of my friends, Dan Duval, he told me I sound more like a rodeo star than a comedian.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I like
Bo
that.
Johnson's it's a sick name.
Dude, you should play in center fielder for the Royals,
Yeah.
and not just because Bo Jackson played center fielder for the Royals.
No, my roommate in college was expecting like a country football player.
Yeah.
And he got me instead.
That's the whole time. Honestly, you probably are a sick roommate. Were you a sick roommate?
I'm a pretty good roommate.
Yeah.
I'm pretty absent. I'm a chameleon to the environment I'm in. I'm as clean as the place I live in.
Yeah, I tried to be that roommate when I was in college, and my freshman year, I tried to be the very subservient. Whatever you want to do, you do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they started doing hard drugs in the room, and I'd be like, "Hey, fellas, it's getting a little noisy in here. Settle down, boys."
I'm the guy who leaves the weed on the coffee table.
Yeah, no.
I am terrible. I'm a bad roommate. Leaving my junk mail.
Yeah,
on the table, leaving dishes in the sink and everything.
Yeah, I remember distinctly one point we had bunk beds. There's me and my other roommate, we had bunk beds, and I was sitting Indian style on top of my bunk bed, and him and three other kids started doing Molly, which is an insane thing to do when you're 19, just sitting in a room. And I was sitting Indian style. I was like, "Guys, take it somewhere else." And they're like, "Shut up, dude." I was like, "For sure.
Take it somewhere else."
Yeah.
My God. So you're from Seattle.
I'm from Seattle.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to University of Washington.
Oh, so you're just a Washington guy.
Yeah, I was the roommate. I realized I got a lot of practice having roommates because I'm an only child.
Yeah.
But we grew up with housemates.
Yeah.
So pretty much 5 years on, the bedroom across from mine, there was always someone or multiple people living in it. It was generally like a series of men going through trial separations or divorce.
That were your friends' parents, or?
Some of them knew my folks. Some of them were just random guys off of Craigslist who moved into the house.
Oh my God.
What kind of, were your parents really bohemian? Like what?
I think they wanted something to help pay the bills.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the guy who was there were two people who lived there the longest. One was in like a section off part of the house. Yeah. And I really liked him. His name was Tom. He was like family.
Sure.
For
Uncle
as long
Tom.
as he lived there. He would have Christmas, Thanksgiving. He'd be Uncle Tom for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other guy was a guy named Raoul, who was like an 80-year-old French Canadian.
T.O. Tom.
Very nice.
He was way more difficult.
Yeah.
Like he would like talk shit about my mom.
Damn.
To me in a way where like
that's his landlord.
Like I'm not saying this is right, but I was a kid, and you kind of like you're 13. You maybe are not always the best son. I was not the best son always.
Yeah.
But he'd be like, see that, and he'd be like, and I was like, no.
What's the Pacific Northwest code for your mom's a bitch?
Tu madre es chacha sucia. I heard it on Rob Big one time when I was a kid. Yeah.
Pacific Northwest, huge Latino population.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you guys.
Oh no.
Two things. Number one, when you first messaged me, there's only one reason I responded.
Okay.
Which is two reasons. The main reason I responded, and this is going to be good and bad, is that your podcast isn't big enough that it was real. Because I don't know if you have the same thing in your inbox, but my inbox every morning is 10 scam podcast invites that are like, "Do you want to go on Stephen Colbert's podcast?"
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I got it from you guys. I was like, well, this is a real thing.
How'd you know? Because the subject line was so sick. It's
Because we had no followers.
Well, I was like, no one's trying to scam me with the Men at Work podcast.
I thought you were going to say, because I don't know, are you familiar with the band Men at Work from Australia?
I very loosely. I think I've
us
heard
too,
like
because we would have never named the podcast this if we knew about the Men at Work band from Australia who sings Africa, right?
No, that's Toto.
That's Toto.
Yeah.
Some other. We should know this because people are always like, we can't be found in the algorithm. We can't be found.
So do people think
that's what's holding us back? Yeah.
Do they think you're a fan-based podcast?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I think we're going to shut the podcast down as soon as we get the Men at Work band on it.
Okay.
I think they're old too, so we might as well start working on that.
That might be
so
like the
podcast will
combination.
never shut down.
That's
Well,
exactly
podcasts never shut down.
Hey, dude, don't be so.
That's true. That's
We
not
thought you were
Pacific
a nice
Northwest,
guy,
dude. You're spending too much time in the Northeast.
And by the way, dude, 97 followers is hard to come by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't
dude.
just give them out to anybody.
Yeah.
The
Wait, did-
governor in Casey Rocket, that legitimized it a little bit.
I know.
That's why we put it in the
You
email.
probably know
dude.
nothing about the Pennsylvania governor, but it just legitimizes it.
But then I did a vibe check with a few of the people I know, and the description I got, I think it was complimentary.
Okay.
They go,
Okay.
broy but not evil.
Okay. That's actually literally as accurate as it comes.
All right, put that. That's on. What you do for a living is off. Is
And I
off the
was like,
masthead.
broy not evil, we can do that. That
Bro,
sounds
not
great.
evil is exactly how I think you would describe it, and exactly how I think you would describe my politics and just everyday
Yeah.
life.
I think that's exactly right.
Broy, not evil.
It would be like if
Yeah.
bros played D&D, that would be chaotic good.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, we really are two bros who watched Avatar: The Last Airbender growing up. That's how I would
Yeah.
describe
Yeah.
us, pretty much. Yeah,
Damn.
it's that kind of vibe. Broy but evil is actually very nice.
Dude, I hope
New name.
people start describing us that would be the best thing for us.
Yeah.
So going back to Seattle, what's the pipeline of like Starbucks to Amazon worker, like barista to software engineer?
Define pipeline for me.
Like, do you start off as like, I feel like you're born, you do whatever
Yeah.
you do in the Northwest, you go down to the fish market, watch those guys toss fish and everything. Then you grow up where you can kind of start being a barista and everything. And then you're like, all right, I can't do this anymore. I got to start getting a real job. And now I'm going to be going to college and becoming a software engineer in Amazon. Because that's the only
Yeah.
thing, I'm only asking that because I don't know much about Seattle.
Okay.
Tried
yeah.
to research, couldn't find much more than Starbucks and Amazon.
I mean, I know people who've worked at Starbucks. I think that's like a high school job or
Yeah.
college job sometimes, or after college, like manage a Starbucks or
Yeah.
something. Amazon, I don't know a ton about Amazon, to be honest.
No?
I feel like it's most of the people I know who work there are more people who moved to Seattle to work at Amazon.
Okay.
But you're also asking someone
Yeah.
who has only ever worked in nonprofits or done
Oh,
stand-up
shit.
comedy about
Sure.
Amazon. So I'm like, the customer
Yeah.
service barista work, I can tap
Yeah.
into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Amazon, we're all just talking about, I know as much as you do.
Okay. Just what's the touch and go on people, on their thoughts on like Amazon, like from Seattle?
I mean, I don't think people think it's cool.
They don't like it. Or
No.
don't think it's cool.
I don't think it's cool.
Like,
I
we've-
use it.
We have Comcast. That's our big one.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm pointed that way.
Do you
'cause
guys
can't even see
rep
it.
Comcast?
No, we don't. They are the ones who control us.
I think Amazon is still our big one. It doesn't matter the fact that we're in Philadelphia. Amazon's kind of the
Really?
big one everywhere you go, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I always thought it was like Comcast. Then we have health insurance, and then we have like then we have nursing, or
Yeah.
not nursing, but hospitals.
Yeah.
That's kind of our big three here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, see, I feel like none of the big Seattle companies feel that cool anymore.
Yeah.
You had
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Oh, yeah.
And Microsoft, I think for a long time, you had, like during the like early era where you're like Bill Gates was the prime like good billionaire
Yeah.
for a while. And then I think they like laid off so many people recently who've
Yeah.
been there forever and they have so much profit that you're like, well, I don't know if I really want to be like,
Yeah.
go hard for Microsoft. And then
Yeah,
Boeing,
the clippy,
Yeah.
the paperclip on Microsoft Word isn't as cool as it used to be.
Now he's
Yeah.
anti-union now. He's just like, we're more of a, we're looking
and
for cheap.
Boeing's not doing so good.
Boeing's out there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boeing's the big one. and-
Dude, you guys might have, and shout out to New York, but you guys might have the most evil corporations in one per
Yeah,
capita.
the most liberal city with the most evil corporations within like 3 miles.
I had like an old regional joke that,
Yeah.
but like Seattle, this is true for both Seattle and San Francisco, but the friend I had in Seattle, this was like the real guy.
Yeah.
For a while, he lived in, it was like him and 3 roommates in this beautiful rented house on the water.
Yeah.
It was like 4 stories, they had an elevator, and he's like very, very leftist dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Seattle's the only city where you can meet a socialist with an elevator in their house.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty
All
good.
right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, you
That's-
don't find many socialists with elevators in the house in the Northeast here.
It does feel like there's I think there's a lot of cities. Major cities nowadays are a lot of people that are telling you from your loft that you guys actually don't give enough in tax money, and it's like, well, I mean, I'm sitting in a park doing a podcast, so I'm not really.
And I will say, in his defense, he was renting. So
yeah.
and that would be my dream too.
No doubt. No doubt. Oh, man. So, like, Seattle, like, again, back to it. Rain and homeless people. Is that what's Seattle, like, really like? Like, for a guy who has no idea.
Yeah. I would say it's less. This is the first thing I'm going to say is not going to sound like a great defense, but I would say it's more during the winter months, dreary than rainy.
Okay.
It's more overcast and gray than
Yeah.
like constant rain. And if you like being indoors for a bit, and that's when comedy is prime time.
Sure.
Comedy is the best. I think that's not only true about Seattle, probably true about like the Northeast, I suspect as well.
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful during the summer. I don't think you can find on a good day a more beautiful part of the United States than the Pacific Northwest in the summer, because it's like 78 degrees, everything's still green, not too humid, there's a lake, there's mountains. Totally gorgeous.
That's sexy as hell. Well, speaking of being in Seattle on a dreary day, when Twilight came out, was that like a big time for you guys?
I think it was a big thing. Yeah,
Did it
especially
resonate at all?
I was thinking a little bit about not Twilight specifically for this, but kind of small towns with a movie that was shot there.
Yeah.
Like, because I think it was big for Forks in its own way. Whether I'm sure people who live there have like their own. This is good and bad.
Yeah.
But it's almost creates like a tourism industry. And I was thinking, this is an offshoot of your question. I apologize to detour. But
Yeah, of course.
I had a show in Astoria, Oregon, about a week and a half ago. And Astoria, from what I was told, there's another place in the Pacific Northwest, Port Townsend, which is kind of like this too. It was a big port town for a minute. Like it's a city that almost was. Like Port Townsend's a cool place, but it was poised like it could have been like a San Francisco.
Got it.
And for a while, Astoria, they had a big businessman, I'm blanking on his name, but like a really rich guy, and it was like trying to make Astoria another big port town, and it had industry for a while, but it was never quite close enough to certain channels to take, and so now it's a small town. And Astoria now is best known for they shot, among other, the less known things were like Kindergarten Cop, Twilight also had a scene nearby, but the big thing is Astoria is the setting and the place where they shot the Goonies.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of there, and I didn't realize that for the first hour. So my first hour there, I was like, man, this town really like pirates.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
That's pretty sweet.
Makes a lot more sense now. And then I was like, what's crazy is this town was almost San Francisco, and now if they put the Goonies on Netflix, the economy of the town would go up probably like 20% for a year.
Just a bunch of sloths walking around.
And that's that's crazy about a place like that. Is how impacted it is by like just shooting one cultural phenom movie in a place.
So back to Twilight.
Like Rocky, even here.
Yeah, well, trust us. We got that shoved down our throats. Rocky and cheesesteak. That's the only people know about us.
Rocky in the Pacific Northwest would be kind of a bummer. He's like, I can't go outside, Adrian. It's raining. It's like, all right, man, come on. Go right up the stairs. Like, they're slippery.
He'd be working in the fish market. It was based in Seattle.
He just would never box. He would just live a nice life.
Yeah.
My dumb regional jokes I've been doing while I'm here.
Sure.
That my favorite thing about Philadelphia is that I think if you work at the museum, it must be a rough day because you're like, oh, it's going to be busy.
Yeah.
You just watch everyone run up the stairs to the Rocky statue, see the museum, and turn around and go home.
Yeah, 100%.
And then what I also like is you got it's a recreation, but you have the Thinker statue.
Yes.
Like 5-minute walk away, also a cool statue.
Yeah.
There's like a 10-minute line to take a photo with Rocky.
Yeah.
Nobody. No, you can't even take a photo with the Thinker. There's no one there to take a photo of you.
Well,
I was like, they should rebrand it as just Rocky thinking about Adrian.
There you go.
And then you'll have a line, get some,
Yeah.
drum up some business for the museum.
Yeah. The night before his next fight. It's just Rocky thinking about how he's going to beat Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
Or Mr. T. The funny thing is you mentioned that is because I've lived in Philadelphia for 15 years.
Yeah.
I've been to the Art Museum one time, and it was 3 months ago, the first time I ever went.
I thought it was sick. I loved it.
I did see you put up the medieval guys. That was my only favorite spot.
I feel like they are underselling how much medieval stuff is in there. Because I would say I try to go to art museums on the road because I'm like, it's something that's distinct about a city. And different cities have, like St. Petersburg, I think I went to the Dali Museum.
Okay.
I went to this one I'm blanking on his name. Who's the guy who did all the...
Picasso?
Stephanie
not
Myers?
Picasso. It's Marilyn Monroe in different colors. It's all pop art.
The soup
Kibble
can.
Soup.
Yeah.
And I like him, too.
Damn.
I'm blanking on his name.
Not Woody Allen.
Definitely not
Certainly not Woody Allen. What?
Different kind of artist.
Don't talk about soup cans and Woody Allen ever again. Dude, I'll call the cops.
That museum in Pittsburgh
There's
was
somebody
sick.
yelling at us, the TV right now.
Yeah.
That we.
But what I feel like, so I'm saying that to go, like, I will go to an art museum.
Yeah.
But if they had just branded the Philadelphia Art Museum as, like, knights, statues, and more,
And
I
Rocky
would have
Room.
gone the first time I came to
There
Philly.
has to be a Rocky
For
Room
sure.
in the museum. Like there's somebody out there in South Philadelphia who has finger paintings of Rocky that they can commission to the art museum or a cheesesteak.
He just cracked open a Miller Lite and he started his finger painting. His wife's like, "That's very good,
Exactly.
honey. That's very nice. Those are bright colors."
So Men at Work podcast, we ask people what they do for a living.
Yeah.
You're obviously a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, Bo Johnson's hanging out in Seattle.
Yeah.
Best job, worst job, wherever you want to go with it.
You talked about nonprofits. Like, what kind of nonprofits were we getting into?
I worked after college. I worked at a restaurant for a bit,
Sick.
and then when the restaurant and then part-time at a food bank that went full-time, and I quit the restaurant. So I worked at, do you know what Feeding America is?
I've heard of it.
It's like for people to watch, it's like a big national food bank for food banks.
We filled Abundance here is our big one.
Yeah, so I worked for the like Seattle Regional Feeding America Food Bank.
Got it.
And I was there for, I think, 8-ish years.
Yeah. How many bellies were we filling a year, you think?
I don't know. Well, this is where I see it's like a food bank for food bank. So I feel like what I did was a mix of very helpful, and at times I was like, I exist because of bureaucracy.
Yeah, you're kind of like the Amazon of food banks, to be honest with you.
I feel like there were elements of the food bank I was at, and some of this, I'll say this too. I think that everything that the organization I worked at was good because of the way the world works.
Got it.
But I think there's some ways that the world works where in an ideal world, some of it just wouldn't be required.
Yeah.
But the food bank I was at, there was a ton of stuff that was like direct service, where just shipping out tons and tons of food to food banks around the area, like very direct. You can immediately see the impact of the work.
What was your role in there?
My job was I worked on a donation program where we would partner out grocery stores with smaller meal programs at food banks. And so there's some years and some windows of time where we were like setting up donation programs at stores that never had donated any of their surplus food ever before.
Got it.
And that felt like immensely productive and meaningful.
So instead of it expiring and them throwing it out, they go.
And there were other times where there were relationships that existed at a store where I really feel like I was the bureaucratic element to that, and we were important because the grocery store chains want all of the data on the food they're donating. So they're not going to, as a corporation, donate food without knowing the poundage and all of that information. They want that collected, and so that was our role, and that served the value. This is like everyone's turning off.
No.
the podcast.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Were the managers more Team Jacob or Team Edward?
Yeah.
The grocery store managers that you dealt with.
Were they hungry like the wolf? Perhaps
I feel like people are going to be more team Tina Vampire, I think.
Team Edward?
Yeah.
Team Edward, right?
Team Edward. Oh, of
Edward,
course it is, dude.
I never watched. I was a Harry Potter guy. Couldn't get into him. But so, what
My
is
girlfriend's a big Twilight fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in a big Twilight household. My mom and my sister. Having your mom and your sister all at once is a little weird. Where like your sister thinking, Robert Pattinson's hot is one thing. When your mom's like, it's like, I don't really like that much.
Yeah. Then they add Taylor Lautner to the mix, and it's like, that's too much sexiness for one.
I didn't like
movie.
Taylor Lautner predominantly because he was so jacked, and I didn't know how to get jacked as a little boy. Like I was like, I think I'm supposed to look like that, and I don't know how to arrive there. I'm already pale. I'd love to be tan like him, but that was never going to happen.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe a push-up or two every once in a while would help me. Yeah. So that's why you just go right to Robert Pattinson, you douse yourself in glitter, and you're kind of good to go.
Well, I think that to a certain degree, Twilight is responsible for the more public. I don't say responsible in a negative way even, but is responsible for how in smut is right now, because it basically was like smut without sex in it.
Yes.
Like it would fade to black during the sex scenes. And what I will say about the movies, because my girlfriend watches all of them with her best friend each year.
It's a rite of passage.
And there's a small movie theater near where I live in Seattle that does they do like retro night.
Yeah.
And they screened the first one, and I'll say after the first movie, they're kind of just teenage Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Level.
I could see that.
Level quality production movies. The first one is actively has good actors in it.
Yeah.
But not a good movie. It's very campy, very kind of poorly done in some ways, shot in this very distinctive decisions that feel kind of poor when you watch it on a laptop.
And they're very true to the dialogue that's in the book, which is pretty tough to sit through. They talk totally inorganically and very awkwardly.
But then you watch it in a theater with a bunch of people who are fans, and the movie totally rips.
Yeah.
Because it's people they know the parts to laugh at. They're cheering for characters.
It's very rehearsed.
And it made
That's
me
a great
kind of
point.
remember how I feel I love going to the movies.
Yeah.
But I feel there's so few times now. Maybe the Barbie movie is one of the last ones that came out where Top Gun was kind of like that.
Honestly, the last one I saw was Batman, Robert Pattinson. It was 3 hours long. I hated it that I had to sit in the movie theater for that long.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
But
it was
I feel
tough.
there's few I think of Barbie because that's one of the last movies I went to where the theater was packed.
Yeah.
And how cool it is to be in a full doing stand up too. it's so cool to watch a movie with an energy for like almost a live show.
True.
Right.
And that was like that for the Twilight first movie. I thought that was sick.
The Barbie movie was kind of a funny one. I saw that with my girlfriend, and it was a good movie. It was an interesting movie. I got the point of it, but I had to pee
Like I
midway.
said, bros but not evil.
That's exactly right. So thank you. I'm not bragging or anything, but I'm nice to women, stuff like that. But I went to go see the Barbie movie, and it was like one of the more poignant parts where I think it's America Ferrera has like a monologue speaking about the issues women deal with, and I had to piss so bad.
Oh, you have to
But
wait.
I was like, if
You
I
have
stand
to
up in the
wait.
middle of this part, I'm going to look like a psychopath. So I just had to sit there and pee, and then I kind of scurried out during like a very lesser part.
I'm going to say the worst thing a relative could say. Do you talk about that on stage? 'Cause that's funny.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm not proud of that, but yeah, I do.
No, I think that's funny.
Thanks, man. I love you, Bo. Anyway.
You want to get some people on?
Yeah,
You want to finally face your fears?
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, get on over here. We've been looking for you all day.
What's your first name?
Steve,
Steve. Nice to meet you. I'm Kyle. This is Matt.
I'm Bo. Nice to meet you, Steve.
nice to meet you.
What do you do for a living, or what did you do for a living?
I was one of the people that invented the paper dress.
The paper dress.
The paper dress.
Paper dress. And
What is the paper dress?
it was an A-line dress. You can look, Google it on your
Yeah.
iPhone.
Okay.
The paper dress. And we had a plant in Leicester, Pennsylvania called Unitex.
Okay.
And so we made the paper dress. The first customer was Scott Paper.
Oh, cool.
And so,
Wait. Scott Paper was the first customer of the paper dress?
yes,
What was he?
Well, yeah. Why?
because we used their door weave to use.
Gotcha.
And what happened was we started making exam gowns for the doctor's offices. And so my partner, he made an A-line dress, and I brought it home. My wife painted on it,
Yeah.
okay? And I bring it back to the office, and he says, "Did you do this?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "We're going over to Scott Paper, and we're going to show this A-line dress."
Yeah.
Well, we were on, I guess it was 3-4 million paper towels that they had and some other stuff. So that's where we got started in the paper dress business.
Wow. Did you ever sell the business?
Yes.
Did you make a nice little chunk of change?
Depends whose chunk of change you're talking to.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So wait, so the paper dress, was this the 60s, 70s, 80s?
60s.
60s.
Early,
Yeah.
early 60s.
Okay.
And then if you look up eBay,
Yeah.
paper dresses and see what they sell now for.
All right, let me look. Why was the paper dress necessary back in those times?
It wasn't. It was a.
Okay. Good salesman.
It was done as a joke.
Yeah. So
I got a couple, like a Tyvek paper dress is going for $3,000 on eBay. Tyvek,
so
I
one of
guess.
the things that
Tyvek was made by DuPont. We had a big thing with DuPont
Yeah.
also.
Okay.
one of the things that's coming up in Google, maybe you could talk a little about this, the Campbell Soup Company's use of the paper dress in advertising.
I'll tell you about Campbell Soup.
Tell me all
Yeah.
about them.
My partner and I decided after we did the Scott Paper, we did Domino Sugar, we did Pepsi Cola, and I said we should do Campbell Soup.
Yeah.
And my partner Bud said we have to get permission from Andy Warhol because
it's like
I said, well, no, let them get permission from Andy Warhol, not me. I'm a little guy, you know.
Yeah.
So we made the Campbell Soup dress. We bought like 3 yards of this stuff, and I brought it over to Campbell Soup, and I asked for the advertising director. And I'm like 27 years old, and so he says, "What do you have?" I says, "Trust me. I have something that he's going to like and love, and he probably might not kick me out of the office. Just get me in there." Oh my God. Okay. 15 minutes go by, he comes out, "Steve, what's so important that you have in your attaché case that I'm going to love?" And I open my attaché case and I go like this. I thought he was going to put in his pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is Andy Warhol.
No, this is
Oh.
Campbell Soup.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. My fault.
This is Campbell
Yeah.
Soup. And so They came over to visit our factory in Leicester, Pennsylvania, to see whether or not we were legit.
Yeah.
And in the 2 years we sold it, we sold the dress. We did 3 million dresses.
Wow.
Damn. How much were you selling them for back in the day? You remember?
$1.
You know what they're going
Yeah.
for right now?
No, I know what they're going now.
$8,400 on eBay.
I know.
Wow.
Do you have any still with you?
Wow.
You're sitting on the Honus Wagner of paper dresses right now.
As fast as the paper dress business went up,
Yeah.
it came down 50 times faster.
Yeah.
Did you get out before it came down?
No,
Okay.
we started to go into the disposable medical business.
Yeah.
So the OR gowns that you
Yep.
see,
Yeah.
and the OR hats that you
Oh, wow.
see,
Okay.
and all that stuff. So we were pioneers in the medical field.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow, you're a pivoter. You're an entrepreneur. I like that.
And so we did a great job. And then a company called Angelica Uniform Company
Yeah.
wanted to buy us out.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to buy, I didn't want to sell. And my partner Bud says, come on, we're going to make some money.
Yeah, you made a boatload.
And so I said, okay. So my partnership was, I was in charge of all the sales and
Yeah.
promotions.
Yeah.
He was the person in charge of the factory. And I just wasn't interested in staying on with them.
Yeah.
And so I quit, and they got this guy who was a Harvard business person
Yeah.
to run the factory. And in 6 months,
Damn.
Oh.
And where'd you go to school?
I went to Penn.
Hell yeah. dude.
When you're
What?
at the doctor or the hospital
Huh?
and they have you put on the gown, do you ever have the compulsion to go,
I
you know,
didn't
I
have to-
invented
I
the
didn't
gown?
have to- I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Bring your own gown.
I wouldn't shut up about it.
Yeah,
I'd be like, you like this gown? Like, it's a pretty good gown.
We made
right?
exam gowns, isolation gowns. We did sheets,
Yeah.
and we did all kinds of stuff. And we sold out to Angelica Uniform.
Mhm.
And I stayed with them for about less than a month.
Were you in the fashion business before this?
No.
Okay. What made you get into the fashion business? What was it
My
just like
wife saw an article in the paper
okay.
about the dress,
Yeah.
okay, that they were playing for. It was Don Gladstone and Bud Hapstad, okay, and I called them up and said, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I think I want to work for you. And
I like that.
come on down. So I went down, talked to him, and I was like 24, 25 years old. They weren't much older than me, and said, "Okay, we'll hire you."
Yeah.
So I'm
At a
reading.
measly salary.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's not going to work. He said, well, how about if we give you a percentage of every sale that
Yeah.
you make?
I won't
There you go.
accept measly, only lackluster.
I said, that sounds different, you know. And so I got a percentage of everything sold in the factory,
Huh?
and I did very well by them.
Yeah.
And we got into a lot of medical items there. And as fast as the dress went up, it came down 15 times faster.
That's what they say. Yeah. Particularly in 1966 and 67, it was very popular.
Very popular.
And then it says customers could send in a coupon and $1.25 to receive a dress made of Duraweave.
Duraweave. That was Scott Paper's material. Duraweave.
So fashion is cyclical. Will the paper dress, you think, ever come back?
Well, some people are making paper wedding gowns now.
Oh, cool.
And you say, I'm going to
like
sue your
that.
ass unless you pay me. Huh?
No.
I will.
I mean, anybody wants to
Yeah.
make a wedding gown. Like she's got a wedding gown on over there,
Yeah.
you know, in satin, you know.
Oh, man.
Anyway, we sold the business.
Did you do anything after?
Yeah. I worked for them for about 3 weeks,
Okay.
and I quit
Yeah.
because I just couldn't. Well, when I had the business, if I went to New York, I'd take money out of petty cash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if I wanted to have a steak dinner, I got a steak dinner. And if I wanted to have a nice breakfast, I had a nice breakfast.
Love that.
But with this other company who was on the American Stock Exchange, they gave me $6 for dinner, $1.50 for lunch,
Yep.
or whatever. And I said, this is not going to work for me.
I hear you, dude. I hear you. Bureaucracy. You don't like bureaucracy. I can.
And so I quit.
Like, was there any ideas like for marketing, trying to like get the word out there about the paper dress, doing like a reenactment of like the Marilyn Monroe standing over top of the vent and then having the thing kind of
We've
fly
had
up?
some very interesting things with the paper dress.
Yeah.
Better than Marilyn Monroe.
Really? Yeah. Okay, I like that. I like it.
Dude, I love that. Who's the most famous person you think that wore your dress?
Well, no, actually, the most famous person was Mr. August Bush,
Oh,
because I made Budweiser blazers
Whoa.
paper blazers.
and paper blazers, and the way it worked, and I did this kind of illegally also.
I like that.
I had silkscreen Budweiser cans,
Mm-hmm.
and remember the name Ed McMahon was
Yes.
on the Johnny Carson
Yeah.
show? So I made him a 46 size because he was a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I sent it at Federal Express to New York, attend him.
Mhm.
They signed for it. Opens it up, I have my name and everything. I get a call like 2 days later. How did you get my name or whatever? I
Yeah.
said, well, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You go NBC,
Yeah.
okay, The Tonight Show, and McMahon.
Yeah.
Anybody would deliver it.
Yeah.
And he says, okay, are you going to be in New York in the next couple of days? I said, no. He says, well, why don't you come on, I think it was a Thursday. He says, why don't you come, because they tape in the afternoon. And he said, why don't you come in, Thursday afternoon, and you come up to this, I forget what studio they were in, and I go up there, and they gave me a nice seat. They had my name at the door. And Ed McMahon's wears the Budweiser blazer
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
on the show.
Going viral before viral was
Only
even in,
because
dude.
Budweiser was a prime
Sponsor.
advertiser, sponsor of that show. It was a fun business.
Yeah, seems like
a
it.
Big fun business.
It's out exactly.
Yeah.
Well, cheers, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope the paper dress comes back. So, Bo, when you got into comedy, was it to get out of the food bank, or was it just to get out of like 9-to-5 life or nonprofit life, or?
I'd started before I got the job at the food bank. So I think I had liked stand up since like probably middle school. I feel like, I don't know how you guys found it, but for me it was the iTunes store had just started to put half hours
Dane Cook?
and live at Gotham. I was like Dane Cook, Dimitri Martin,
Yeah.
Mitch Hedberg,
Brian Regan. I love
Pablo
Brian
Francisco.
Regan. Yeah.
And so I was watching that in middle school, and I was like, I really like stand-up. And I think that's when there was the genesis of like, I kind of want to do this, but it felt so foreign and intimidating. And then in college, I was writing kind of like a Onion style
Got it. Yeah.
stuff with a friend, and that was really fun.
Yeah.
And then the interest level in the two guys I was working with, like, kind of dropped off, and it was me on my own. And it was the type of thing that didn't really work without collaboration. And so I was like, man, what's something where kind of all of the onus is on me, and I'm the only one responsible for how interested I am? Because it's no one's fault to not want to spend, 15 hours a week writing a satirical publication that's losing money that no one's reading. So they made the actively more correct decision, and I was like, well, okay, where is there like a captive audience where I've also historically been worse at sitting down and writing like something that's long with dedication, but I'm good at writing a premise, and a premise is like the harder part of comedy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious because you guys are both, you used to write and you write now. When you guys sit and you write funny like gaffes and jokes and LOLs, are you like laughing a little bit while you're writing it? Like, because that seems like a pretty sociopathic thing to picture. Or are you very much like stern-faced, looking at your laptop, writing things out, and then you just click send?
I
and then
think
it's done?
I'm just like, ooh, this is good, which actually might be as much.
Do you
smart?
you do like a nice?
Like, all right, that's good. That's
you get like a
good,
twinkle of your tooth when
I'm
you
like,
think of something.
I'm just thinking like the people would like that one, which might be actually sociopathic in
I
its
think
own
that
nature.
might be right. Yeah.
But yeah.
I feel like, well, now I would like to get back to more sit down writing. For me now it's more like I'll go for a long walk and I'll write down thoughts like in my phone. Or I have a few friends, like Tyler is one of them in Philly, where we'll call and talk over jokes. Like I find that to be, I have an easier time writing in conversation with a friend where it's like kind of pitching stuff
back
live.
off each other. Stuff
Yeah. And I would like to, some of the stuff that is like our jokes I'm proud of are stuff I wrote very early on when I was really like sit down writing, and I think there's an element to that I would like to get back to when I am done with some of the other like business responsibilities of comedy right now.
You said you were a barista, right, at Starbucks?
I was not a barista at Starbucks. I worked I was a barista, but more of a I don't know what the word for it is. We did make coffee on an automatic machine. I worked at the smoothie bar at the gym in college.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
How was that?
That was a great job.
Just a bunch of fucking frat guys just
Really
coming
fun.
in and just
You could give people leftover smoothie,
Yeah.
make yourself a ton of smoothie.
You were always a food
creatine.
bank guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just giving over leftovers.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are gonna love this.
It would be fun to guess what type of smoothie people were gonna get. Be like, that's a peanut butter protein right there.
Oh, that's a great.
That's a
Okay,
peach sunset right there.
give us a read. If we walk up to you, Kyle and I just finished a laborious cardio workout,
Yeah.
Deltoids.
and we come up to you and we say, "Hey, Bo," because that's how we talk.
You guys are peanut butter protein for sure.
Broy, but not evil.
Yeah.
Oh, like a PB2.
Maybe one of you wants a little bit of strawberry in there. Make
I'm a
it
strawberry
PB&J.
guy. God damn
You
it!
got
All right.
mango? You have mango on the board?
We can get some mango in there.
I like that.
Don't go crazy with it. Don't get greedy with
PB&J
mango.
and mango. Okay.
Oh, okay.
If you want to do that, that's not a choice I would make.
Let's go
but
fucking
I'll
nuts.
do that for you.
That's a good buddy cop movie coming out. PB&J and mango
Yeah.
coming to screens near you.
Oh my god. All right. Well, hey. All right. What else have you done? So, smoothie maker at the gym in college, food bank guy, restaurateur.
Yeah, I was a busboy for a while.
Yeah.
And then I worked the door at a comedy club for a while I was.
We've never had a guy from work the door at the comedy club before. What was that
Yeah.
like? You
Yeah.
like it? Because I mean, obviously you're doing stage time too and stuff.
I
so-
liked it. It was the Comedy Underground in Seattle, which is now gone club. It was around kind of in the 80s past, and it had like a heyday where it really ripped. Like Mitch Hedberg was there for a minute.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would say it's kind of a crazy. It would depend on the night. Like once I started working there, you got a guaranteed spot on the open mic every single week,
Yeah.
guaranteed spot in any of the showcase shows that you were working, and then usually guest spots on the weekend. And so that was really nice. The open mic, you meet the most insane people. Like there's some stuff where I'm like, I can't believe I was paid $25 to have to deal with this guy.
What happened?
Like,
Yeah.
I think the most insane thing, there was a guy who didn't get up on the open mic list a couple of times. And he'd burned the light one of the times he got up, and so there was a reason too. And also, you'd have 100 people signing up for like 35 spots.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to get up each time. And he came up, and he like knew me a little bit, so I think he was like, we have familiarity, and he was like, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to cut the manager up. And I was like, well, I can't let you down.
Just don't tell me that.
If you're going
Yeah.
to tell me you're about to attack this guy.
Oh, literally cut. Oh, actually.
He's like, I'm going to kill this guy. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's bad. Yeah,
I was
you
like, well,
can't.
you can't go down there. And he was like, can we talk outside?
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I'm going to go.
He asked you to
Yeah.
talk outside.
So, and I was like, well, I don't think you should do that.
I don't think you
But
should
also,
kill
this
the
is like
manager.
a 6'5" big guy. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to stop this guy either. And so he never did it. But I was like, this is not my job.
So you kind of saved a life. That's kind of like a
Yeah,
beautiful
maybe.
moment.
You are
yeah.
the fry.
And then the other job that we'd had, end of the night, you'd have to go through. Well, this is more when I would manage the club on off nights, and manage is very loose.
Sure.
Term. You would be responsible for booking the show. You run the light, turn the sound on, and then you'd make sure everything's good to go when you leave.
Yeah.
And I would walk through. The Comedy Underground was a part of the Underground Tour. So Seattle is a city that is built on top of a city that burnt down.
Really?
Oh,
Kind
wow.
of like the Great Fire of San Francisco,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So there's a
okay.
there's a tour you can do where you go under the city in what used to be the original level, and the underground, Comedy Underground, a part of it that's part of the tour. People would come through the back, and your job you'd walk through the whole labyrinth of tunnels and make sure no one was there, and there never was. But I never had a plan. If someone was there, I was like, I guess I just die.
Exactly.
It was more just let's make sure it's fine.
Yeah.
But
Dude,
there's no
I-
backup.
So I don't do comedy. Matt only does comedy, but I love listening to open mic stories.
Yeah.
I could do an entire podcast where someone could just talk about open mic stories. You've had a couple of them. I don't know if you can share any of them.
They truly never end. There's a guy that I guess I can't say by name, but there's a gentleman who won a big contest in
Yeah.
Philadelphia, and he, after winning the contest, it's kind of assumed that you'll get hosting spots,
Yeah.
featuring spots at this unnamed place, and he wasn't getting booked for these spots, and it came to a head where he actually didn't get on the open mic list months after
Yeah.
he had won. So his kind of act of rebellion is he went back in the green room and just drank all the coffee. There was a full pot of coffee, and he just power drank it out of spite.
Yeah.
And so he was caffeinated and frustrated. And I don't think anything came of it that
This
night.
is the worst this guy would be so bad in a mob. He's like, I'll show you. I'm gonna wreck my intestinal system in my own home.
I'm gonna shit for 2 weeks straight because of you.
He ate all the cannolis.
They're like, are you mad? He's like, no, I'm just.
I'm so shaking. He's angry. He's like, actually, my nervous system is shot.
Oh my God, open micers are the best.
Can I tell you the two craziest Comedy Underground stories? And I will say, I miss this club, and it's my favorite place I've ever performed.
It sounds awesome.
So, my story, which is worse, but this is my story, is that
I'll be the judge of that. Yeah.
I would. Well, the other one is a subjectively better story, and I wish it was mine.
I think even better than mine. I was like, no. Bo, I called you nice for a reason, man.
I'm talking about the two stories with the Underground.
Sure.
It's my time.
Your story was also fine.
Thanks,
but
man.
no, I like the story.
I'll punch it up
I would say your story is better than mine, but the other story that's neither of ours is better than both.
I can live with that. Yeah, that's fair.
The soap dispenser in the men's room was broken.
Okay.
It was like leaking that pink soap you'd have in like the tier 2 soap. Worst soap is like
cheap
the
soap,
pink cocaine soap. Second worst soap is that soap but liquid, pink form.
Yeah, Perel is right up there too because I hate when bathrooms just have Perel.
Yeah, I don't like
giant puddle of it on the floor. And so I cleaned that up, and the bartender is the one, it was their job to kind of be stocking the bathroom. And I was like, hey, just a heads up, the soap dispenser in the men's room is broken. And they were like, oh, yeah, I know. Don't worry, I switched it. That was in the women's room, and I switched it with the men's room because men don't wash their hands.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if that was the only option, that was the right decision.
Sure.
But we should have soap. See, that was the type of mentality that by the end kind of existed in some of the staff.
That's a bartender mentality, right?
See, that's bro-y but evil. That's bad. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
Best story, not mine. This is like early years when I was working there, when there was still security.
Yeah.
Within a year of me working there,
when did they defund the security?
No security.
After that guy threatened to kill somebody, they were like, "We'll get one guy in here in a black T-shirt."
There was no security at that point.
Yeah.
That was it. That was me.
Yeah.
But someone else who was a door person, their name is Natalie, and Natalie, they were working there, and at this point in time, there was security. There's another guy named Bo, big dude, who was security guard, and then the chef. And there was a rat running around.
Okay.
And they were trying to catch the rat with a broom, like brush the rat out of the building. Couldn't catch the rat.
Damn.
And so the chef, he would carry pepper spray in case there was ever like an incident with a customer. This is really good cooking. He's like, I have a complaint for the chef. He's like, you still have a complaint?
That's what he seasons it with too. He's like, dash salt, dash pepper spray.
I was making my throat burn. He's like, you don't like spice?
You white people bad, yeah.
So he's like, well, the broom's not working. I'll chase the rat with pepper spray.
Of course.
So he's chasing the rat with pepper spray. And this building, hardest summer, no air conditioning.
Yeah.
And so what the Underground did have in place of air conditioning was giant industrial fans.
Okay.
And the fans picked up the pepper spray and blew it throughout the entire building. There are fortunately no customers in here yet. It would have been even better.
Sure.
But no customers, but all of the waiters, the waitresses, the bartenders, all the cook, everyone has to run out with like tears streaming down their face because the
Pouring
pepper
milk
spray
on their
got
eyes.
through so that's the better story.
That's a
Holy
good one.
shit.
That is good. I think after that, you're legally allowed to become a cop. I think that's like the one thing they do to cops before you become one. So you get all of them are honorary cops.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, dude, open mic stories. I mean, I don't know if there's a podcast out there, but someone's got to start one of just open mic stories. They're the best. Comedy club stories are just the best. Have they ever made a comedy club like series?
Well, I feel like the problem is my friend Brad and I have talked about this. I think a podcast where you talked candidly about professional clubs and club owners.
It's going to make it tough.
And people who open for you would be very interesting, but professionally disastrous.
It's honestly, I think it's probably like a generation away. Like when you guys are older, like it'll be okay because like a lot of those first-time club owners in the 80s and 90s, I feel like they'll finally be dead.
Yeah.
And like maybe you can keep the club out of it, but I guess.
See, I feel like I'm not even saying anything. Like I love the Comedy Underground.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying anything that bad.
Yeah, no.
Like mostly, I'm like, I like this place, but here's crazy stuff. I don't think I could even talk about that if this club was still open.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's pretty fair. Yeah, that's pretty fair.
It has to be a condemned building.
Yeah, I can only talk about dilapidated things that have exited the economy of a place.
And I'm not even naming anyone, really.
Yeah.
Hardly.
Except Bo, the bouncer.
Yeah.
Bo is short for bouncer.
Yeah.
Actually,
Why was Bo flying around? Like, why were that name flying around in Seattle in the?
Yeah. What
early
show was
90s.
on?
I'm not sure because he was older than me, and I predated. I feel like I would get a lot of my dog's Bo when Obama had the dog.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Now, why is it B-O and not B-A-U?
Yeah,
B-E-A-U.
I was named after the Aurora Borealis. This
No
like a
way.
bit. Yeah, I was named after the Aurora Borealis. The joke is because I was conceived under it.
Okay,
And I go, if you don't know what conceived means, you have a lot in common with me for most of my childhood. There's more, but that's the.
Wait, so hold on. Your name is Bo, and Bo is short for Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis. So I would have been Aurora as a girl. My middle name is Royal, Bo Royal.
And then your last name is Johnson. Aurora Borealis Johnson.
Bo
Rupert.
Royal Johnson. Yeah, Royal Johnson is an all-time.
That's insane. Yeah.
I would just go. That would be my stage name.
He's working with Johnny Sins. Yeah.
Royal Johnson.
Royal Johnson.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's unbelievable.
We're too deep in.
Yeah.
I'm just barely accomplished enough that it's too late to change the name now.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem. Yeah.
Not a
exactly.
deep list of accomplishments, but enough.
Enough that it's like, goddamn,
Enough
Bo
that it
forever.
would.
Enough to do like headline at punchline, but still sit in the park with two guys.
Yeah, enough that I was like, this is a good opportunity.
Yeah. That's good.
Listen, we trick a lot of people into
Yeah.
coming into the park. It's actually kind of hilarious
How
how
many-
much you idiots are.
How many
Yeah.
people do you ask who do Punchline for the weekend?
We've had you on. We had Ian Bag on. We
Yeah.
do Helium a lot more.
Yeah.
Casey Rocket was
Yeah.
there. Mook was on.
Yeah.
With Little Sass.
I feel like Ian would be very comfortable with this.
Oh, you know Ian?
No, I mean, I know who he is.
Yeah,
I don't know
Canadian
him
Energy.
personally at all.
Yeah, he was because we had one of the worst podcasts of all time in terms of like people coming through.
Yeah, see, I
We
would
went-
say this
yeah.
part I like. The next
Just,
part is going to make me much more uncomfortable.
Let's
Yeah,
start
us
it.
too, dude. Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't like meeting new people very much.
You've been great
Yeah.
though because a lot of people like look at it and be like, I'm kind of in a zoo right now. People are
Yeah.
just like looking at me in the middle of a park.
Yeah.
We've got.
Well, I feel like
I
the
mean, at least
headphones.
I've
I feel like the
become-
headphones help.
Desensitized.
Yeah.
And I think that there's stuff over the years that you become a little more like. I think of sometimes I'll still say yes. I will say no to some shows now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say mostly yes if it's like near where I live.
Yeah.
And some of them are so bad still, like really bad
Yeah.
shows. And I will drive home and I go, the only win is that this will only ruin my night and not my week.
Okay. There you
Like
go.
I did one in a few months. I was like, this would have made me feel so much worse 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have done better,
Yeah.
but I would have felt worse about it.
We're growing, dude. We're growing.
And I
Every
think you
single
kind of like, yeah, I'll have that thought sometimes where I'm like, this is crazy that this awful thing I'm about to do feels normal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The normalcy is what really kind of makes it upsetting. Well,
Yeah.
this is a hacky question. Before we get somebody on, what worst show that you've done that comes to mind off the top of your head?
Oh man, I could tell you a few, but I don't know how good we are on time.
we got time.
Okay.
We have a plethora.
Can I go through a little bit of a list? Because
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this lately.
Oh, this is even better.
And I'll
All right,
tell
cool.
you, I've been thinking about. I'm not going to tell this story, but I don't know how you build your act, but I feel like I have one of the stories I really like that's now recorded but not out. But I'm kind of like, I have to slowly. I'm not saying people know me well enough that I can retire. Like if it's retired, people are so famous.
Right,
But
yeah.
people who are coming to see me hopefully will see this story.
Okay.
Is I have a story about opening for Lionel Richie in a park outdoors, and it was really bad.
During COVID, I'm assuming.
After COVID,
Oh.
5,000 people at an outdoor park during a summer series.
Yeah, comedy before music is
And so
weird.
I have a story about that in my act. It's like a 5-minute story, and I'm like, okay, well, it's time to we can make room.
Yeah.
I don't want my whole act to be stories about me bombing.
True.
That also is not a good look. If
Just
your
constantly
your
yeah.
entire act is just it's never gone good.
Yeah.
Like, why did you guys pay for this? It's just me bombing all the
But
time.
I do like stories like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's now room to move in other stories.
Yeah.
And I've definitely done other bad shows. So a few that come to mind. One of the first ones was an outdoor. It was a community event, kind of like arts event, and it was the first time I got paid like $100. So I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And it was a pallet outdoors at noon in the heart of summer. And there was a tree next to me and 30 lawn chairs.
Yep.
And then there was a Zumba class 100 meters back blasting music. And I'll say to their defense, not good to do comedy to Zumba.
Yeah.
Maybe worse to do Zumba to comedy.
Right.
And there was an older lady sitting in the front row. And I was like, great, we got one person. That's great. And when I started, it became clear that she was there for the shade. It was the only place there was shade.
Yeah.
And so I started, and she left, and that was just the sound guy and me. And it was like one of those times where you're like, do I do this?
Yeah.
Like, do I just stand here now? But I guess you kind of have to talk so people will come over.
Right.
And so I'm just doing comedy to nobody.
Yep.
That was one. Another one that comes to mind, one of the strangest shows I've ever done was, this will be the last one, but I used to do, some of the first shows I did were these like weed comedy shows in Seattle.
Of course.
And they could be magic. They could have like an incredible crowd where it's just like, you're also new.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the only times where like, you could feel like what it was like to crush.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because you had a crowd that was hot enough and willing enough, so you'd do a sober set and a high set.
Yeah.
And I did not smoke until like 23 at all. And so this was like my first experience of smoking, where it'd be like the guy was like, here's a dab.
Yeah.
You should do a dab.
Fuck.
Oh my
and
God.
if you don't know, dab is like weed, but make it hard drugs.
Make it hurt. Yeah, make it painful.
Yeah.
And another just fun Pacific Northwest fact is there were 2 weed comedy shows. There was one that was first, and then another one started. And these shows, the guys who ran it, big feud.
Yeah.
They did not care for each other. Mutual.
I'm the weed comedy
dislike
guy.
for each
No,
other.
I'm the weed comedy guy.
Yeah.
And like it became like hostile energy between it. And it's one of those things where you're like in it and it feels normal. And then I was starting to think about, I was in Astoria after the show,
Shout out to
walking
Astoria.
around,
Shout
and
out
I
to
was
Goonies.
like remembering this as like, it's actually kind of funny. There's these 2 weed comedy shows that had like a Romeo and Juliet family style blood feud.
Yeah.
And it was
Battle
just
of the
for a
Roses.
weed
And
show.
their 2 daughters, their 2 daughters got together.
The
Exactly.
2 daughters of Bud, just different names for weed. Yeah, of
Bud and
course.
Bud.
Yeah.
And for a weed show, not very chill.
Not at all.
And so one of the
Laced with
last
hatred.
shows I did for the weed show was, it was a corporate show. It was like the first time I got real money. It was another, I feel like a lot of the times, I don't know for
A
you,
lot of these decisions feel influenced by money.
I feel like the
Yeah.
worst shows have been ones where I either had hope. When
Okay.
when I go knowing I signed up for a bad thing, doesn't feel so bad.
Yeah.
But when there's like
Yeah.
excitement. And so this was like the first time I ever got paid like $700.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Like enough to justify flying to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And so I was like, more money must be good. And now I've been doing this long enough that I know, with exception, but generally, the more fun, the worse money.
Yeah.
The more money, the money is more to pay you to do it. That's like a corporate show.
Sure.
Because I feel when people are like, how much to do this corporate? I'm like, I feel bad because I'm like, the quality of the show won't feel worth the number I'm going to tell you.
Right.
Fair.
What I'm asking for is the amount that will make me feel okay about doing this.
Yep.
And so, whereas if you see me do like a show for like 70 of my fans, that's like, you go, that's the show that should be worth $3,000.
Right.
This daylit conference room where people don't want me there, that's gonna be worth thousands because I
Because you have to suffer through it. Yeah, you have to suffer
Do
through
you remember the industry?
It was this was a cannabis. This show in LA.
this is cannabis,
It was a corporate version of the weed show.
Yeah.
First year after weed was legalized, I believe, or close after, 1 or 2 years after, and it was for the after party of a Los Angeles weed convention.
Okay.
And so we go to the convention center in Los Angeles, and I see the room the show is supposed to be, and it is a corporate office room. And I go, oh no, this is gonna be really bad.
Yeah.
And then this is where it got worse. They go, don't worry, the show isn't here. It's at the after party, which is a new location. And I was like, we're back in business.
Okay,
And that second hope was what made it bad.
Yeah.
Sure.
So then the convention's over, and normally the show is like people who are stoners go. Stoners, great comedy audience.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
People who work in the weed industry at a weed convention in the agricultural and ownership entrepreneurial side, this is
Yeah,
I'm not even
that-
saying these are bad people, but that's
Narcs.
not the
They're
same.
not there to be.
These are also people who, and I'm not saying this with judgment, but until 2 years ago had largely been running criminal enterprises.
Sure.
Because these were largely people who have been in business long before you could do the weed convention
Drug
at the
dealers,
convention
not a good.
center.
Not
Yeah.
a,
The
drug
Wild
dealers
Wild
are
West
not a
becomes
good-
an accountant. Yeah. Of
So
course. Yeah.
the after party is supposed to be like 10, and
Yeah.
we drive over there. We're going through like this warehouse district of Los Angeles. Nothing is open. It's all chain link fences and like shut down warehouses. I remember going by. There was one like a monastery that was like the biggest like non-warehouse thing in the area also closed. And we get to the warehouse and we're walking through, and there's like tons of security, like armed gun security is there. And then we get in, and the after party is in a airplane hangar. This is not like hyperbole. Like you could put multiple airplanes in this hangar, which if you don't go to comedy shows, not conducive. Dimitri Martin, I think, has the joke where he's like, the better the room is for comedy, the worse it would be to be in a fire. And this room would have been a great place to have a fire. Very good. Very easy to get out.
I would imagine your voice is just bouncing off of the walls, like echoing and stuff.
So we get there, no chairs. Also, no chair set up. It's probably 200 people in the warehouse. 200 people in a different space, a lot.
Where did what time, what event did it occur to you when you were like kind of thinking, I might be kidnapped, or I might be a part of an international drug smuggling deal right now going on?
Maybe I'm wrong. I just never concerned me.
Hangar just feels insane.
I'm just living with the assumption things will go all right.
Once I saw the armed security, I'd be like, something is going down. I'm meeting who's the guy from Mexico?
I would not be able to think that broadly, though. My thought would be the entire time, I'd be like, I hope my knee doesn't start hurting. Like I'm not able to think of like contextually what's happening around me.
I was never like, I'm more of a I have a hard time breaking the rules. So for me, it was not like I'm in danger.
Very Canadian energy.
I was more like, are we not allowed to be here? That was more my energy. I was like, we're gonna get in trouble.
Yes. This is going to be against FAA compliance.
And so there's a guy on like pogo stick legs bouncing around.
And that's always going to happen. You can't avoid that.
He's there, 200 people, no chairs. The only part of the room that's not fully lit is where the stage is. The stage is the only dark part of the room, which is the opposite of how you want it. And then so we all go on and do our first set. Everybody bombs.
I imagine.
And then in between, there was a rapper, and he performed. And he had a smoke machine, and he had backup dancers, and the rapper bombed.
Wow.
And that
How'd pogo stick guy do?
He is still just bouncing around.
He killed?
He's just there doing his own thing.
Yeah.
I think he owned part of this convention.
He wasn't even hired. He was just kind of freelancing.
He was not for entertainment. That was just. I think he was like. I think it's like when you're a kid and you're doing something you think is cool. You're like, people will be impressed. I'm doing this with a yo-yo. He was just kind of doing that.
He just wanted any opportunity to get the pogo sticks out. I like that.
Yeah.
So by the end of the rapper's set, people start dancing, getting into it. He's bombing for 90% of it, and then people kind of the vibe shifts. So like, we kind of like this, and I was like, this should be the rest of the night.
Yes.
Because this is also not blaming the audience. They, on their end, they just worked for 7 hours, and now they're getting high and drinking with all of the people they work with. They want to hang out.
Yeah.
And we're just doing a show.
Yeah.
And so I was like, they should just call the comedy show. But now we've all gotten high for the high portion.
Yep.
And the guy who is paying everyone, he comes out and this is one of those things where I saw another guy who was on the show a few weeks ago, and we were talking about this show. And you ever have something happen where you're like, I made up a detail from this story, and then we were talking about it, and he corroborated. And I was like, oh, we both remember the same thing.
Right.
But this guy, he came out and he goes, I can't believe I paid all of these comedians $700 to be here, but I guess since I gave them the money, we'll do the rest of the comedy show. And then came back out and bombed the second time.
That guy definitely did not work in the marketing department. I'll tell you that one.
So that's one of the other ones.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They never...
Honestly, at that point, I wish I would have just been kidnapped and put into it.
I would have been.
Once I hear that you're hurtfully talking about the amount you're paying for me and you're dealing with me to perform, I'd be like, I'll just go home.
I'll just go home. Yeah.
I mean, you get nice critiques sometimes. Like my favorite critique I got after a show, it was very early on, and I opened for a very popular local act, Aunt Mary Pat.
Yeah.
And it is a gentleman who dresses up as a 50-year-old Delco mom, Delaware County mom, and they were great. I loved opening for them. But the first time I did, it was the biggest show I'd done. It was like 400 people. It was at Soul Joel's.
I like Soul Joel's.
Yeah, Soul Joel's at Royersford.
I really like Joel.
He's great.
He's great.
He's the man. But this was back when everything was outside.
Yeah.
So like one of the bigger shows I've done, I'm hosting, so you're going up cold. And the set went really well. I was pretty happy with everything. And then after the show is wrapped up and everyone's kind of walking by and saying, "Oh, that was great. You're really funny." I had 2 women come up to me like, "You were great. I just wish you would have dressed up like a woman too." And I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Any reason why?" And they're like, "Just would have fit the show if you guys were all dressed up as women." I was like, "Do you think we should have had like female openers?" And they're like, "No, guys dressed as women." Sure. I think. And
we came for the cross-dressing. We want the cross-dressing.
Almost a progressive thing to say.
They were teetering. They were right there. Yeah.
Can I say my Joel thing?
Please.
This is when I was like,
his reputation
I love
precedes
this guy.
him.
Genuinely love this guy. Love that club.
Yeah.
And I was in the small room, as I should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Not full, but and then in the big room, the banquet hall, they had like a soul night, so you could hear like the music through the wall a little bit, and it was like one of those shows where it's like it's set up good. That's what I love, when there's just something a little bit away from sterile. Sometimes when it's like too good, there's nothing to play with or riff with. If it's too like just matter of fact, here's the venue.
Yeah, there's no.
And it like makes the show feel a little less special.
Mm-hmm.
And but he was like, I've never worked the club before, so he's watching, as he should. But sometimes you're kind of like, man, I know the right way to start the show is to riff on what's going on.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to offend the guy who's writing my check, who I appreciate.
Yeah.
And right before I go on, he leaned into my ear and he goes, "Feel free to make fun of the club."
He knows. Dude, he knows. He knows.
And I was like, "You rock. I will work here forever. As long as you want me to come back here, I will work here. I love Soul Joel."
He lives in the reality of the last time I did the show there was a wrestling event going on in the ballroom next to me, and it was like, how would you not talk about that?
Yeah.
And he knows. Yeah.
All right, that's the podcast. Do you have anything you want to promote?
When is this coming out?
It's coming out tomorrow.
Well, if you're watching this tomorrow afternoon and have not made plans on Saturday night, I'll have 2 shows at Punchline Philly, and there are plenty of tickets still available.
Go see Bo, dude.
Do
Go
not
see
be
Bo.
deterred.
Bo knows.
Please come, and if you did watch this and you thought my contributions to the podcast were meaningful enough to have any semblance of interest in my career, I've got a YouTube channel, Bo Johnson Comedy, and Instagram, Bo Johnson Comedy. And what I would really love is I produced, a lot of people are doing this, my own special.
Yeah.
That was shot in Portland, Oregon in April. And it's getting sent in to get color, have the color fixed.
Nice.
It's almost done.
You got a title for it yet?
It'll be at 2 sailboats. The sneak peek for the people who've watched an hour would be my dad built. Can I do the joke?
Yeah, of course.
Please.
My dad built a sailboat. He quit working in government, became a massage therapist, and before that he was a carpenter, and he built a sailboat from scratch.
Yeah.
And so when I was, that was like the cool thing about my dad as a kid. And then we were working on a house together, like in a room, and I was like, "How long did it take you to build the boat?" And it's like 5 years until I could sail it. And so I realized anything I care about in life would take 5 years minimum of hard work. And so in the joke I go, and I've been doing this for 10 years now.
There you go.
And I'm
Dude.
spending a significant portion of my life savings on a YouTube video. And I can't help but think I could have had 2 sailboats by now. So it's 2 sailboats, but it's the best thing I think I've made. I'm really proud of it. I think it's really good. And if you like my sense of humor, I think you'll really enjoy it. So it mean a lot if you went to the YouTube channel. I got a little mailing list to my Instagram where I'll only bug you if I come back to Philly or wherever you live. Or like big stuff like when the special comes out, and I would love it if people watched it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, go follow Bo on everything. Support Bo at
rules.
Punchline. Just be fucking cool.
This has been fun. This is the best version of what it could have been.
Was it better than the Trolley podcast?
I don't want to say that.
Yeah,
I like the trolley guy was nice too, but this is good. This has been a fun hang. This is my good afternoon.
Yeah, dude,
for
you
me.
say yes to way too many things. All right, we'll talk to you.
See you guys.